Alright, time for What If a So Jr. Survived. I hope you're enjoying this series. I know I am. And sorry it came out a day late, but I tried to post it on time. Anyway, with all that being said, let's get to it. We cut to Beerus, who was having a dream about fighting a Super Saiyan God. But at the same time, it wasn't just a Super Saiyan God. It was some woman, some girl he was fighting. She looked weird, like some sort of bug creature, but she was also kind of cute. However, Beerus would wake up and look around. As he got into the bath, he would start to think about what he dreamed. And Beerus began to tell Whis about his dream, about fighting a Super Saiyan God and some cute girl. Some cute girl, Whis said. Oh, Beerus, you certainly have your types. Beerus would say, shut up. This dream is not just a dream, it's a proposition. It's the Super Saiyan God. Whis didn't really believe Beerus still. However, he decided to show him all the existing Saiyans. And he did show him Kibble, the daughter of Cell. Cell was a bio-android made of the DNA of all the greatest warriors in the universe. He had a daughter named Kibble. Kibble was a lot like him. She loved the battle, she loved the fight. However, she had a much softer heart, and she was way more gentle. However, she still loved to beat people up every now and then, but she would beat up bad guys, not good guys. Beerus laughed and said, really? What happened to her father? He was killed by Gohan. She even beat Gohan in a fight, but she let him live as a sign of mercy. Beerus said, well, she didn't make a good destroyer, but maybe she makes a good fighter. That's it, we're going to Earth. They have a hot chick there, and fighters win-win, Beerus said, smirking. But before he went to Earth, he would go to King Kai's planet like a normal, then he would go to Earth. And as he looked around, he saw all the Z fighters. As Vegeta looked at him, began to shake in fear. Then Kibble looked up at him, and she felt it. She felt the massive energy. Her DNA was made up from Piccolo and Kami, so she could sense it just a little bit. As she looked up, Beerus continued to walk forward, and as he looked right at her, he said, I like you. She said, what? This would then blush and go, as a fighter, I mean. Anyway, let's try out some delicious cuisine. You want to try some with me? She nodded, and him and her began to eat together. And Vegeta said, what the hell's going on? He's supposed to be the god of destruction, but he's acting like a teenage boy around her. Vegeta would look at Whis and say, what is going on? Whis would say, well, he has a type. And she is pretty for, well, an android meant to kill everyone, I guess. So I guess Beerus kind of likes her. Vegeta would go, really? Interesting. Vegeta would then smile as he thought, well, I guess because of this, he wouldn't really have to worry about anything. But then, suddenly something happened. Yamcha began to pat Beerus' shoulder, which pissed him off. Vegeta looked at the stage, and he thought about it. Would he have to do the epic bingo dance? Would he have to do it to calm him down? But then, Kibble just laughed and said, you were annoyed. I didn't like that one much either. And then Beerus laughed and said, I know, and they began to make fun of Yamcha. And Vegeta just sighed. It seemed like Beerus didn't really need him. As they were having a good time, suddenly Beerus would notice something. He couldn't get any pudding, that fat, pink. Beerus looked straight at Kibble and said, can you breathe in space? Kibble said, yeah, good, because I'm gonna destroy this entire planet. As he flew up, everyone got ready to fight him. Kibble said, don't. Beerus said, I won't if you kiss me. Kibble said, sure. She kissed her fist and punched him straight in the face. I can deal with a guy flirting with me, but extorting me just to save the world, that's a little too far. Besides, I'm a fighter, not some pretty girl. Beerus laughed and said, you know what? I can have fun fighting you. Beerus quickly took out all the Z fighters, but he savored his time with Kibble. Kibble and him fought with everything he had, and Kibble was the strongest out of all of them. And her power was near Super Saiyan God, but it wasn't quite there. As she battled him, he could feel excited to push himself, to fight someone who's actually strong. He goes, you're stronger than these Saiyans, but you're still not strong enough. However, your beauty makes up for it, Beerus said, laughing. Kibble said, never had a guy hit on me before. Most don't like my looks. Kamehameha! As she blasted a Kamehameha right into his face. But it did nothing as he smirked. and knocked her down. As she fell to the ground, Beerus got up and began to laugh. At least you'll be able to survive. She looked right up at him and said, "You know who else won't be able to survive? You know who won't be able to survive the cold vacuum of space? My son, Jinx." As she got angry, she went into a rage form, a form she never reached before. As she flew up and punched Beerus down to the ground, using her above super perfect cell form, along with her rage form, she began to push Beerus further and further. Beerus was shocked. No mortal should be this powerful without God Ki. How could she have so much power? And as he was fighting her, Bulma walked up and smacked Beerus as he was on the ground looking up in amazement and said, "Get off my damn planet." But then he knocked her out as suddenly Vegeta reached his race form. As both of them pushed up against Beerus, pushing him into the sky, pushing him with everything they got. Rage Vegeta and Rage Kibble were a match. Beerus never fought someone like them before.
Beerus would simply laugh and smirk. "Aw, that's the key to your power. Anger. Anger pushes you forward. Anger makes you stronger. Anger makes you greater. And anger is what's making you able to fight me." Kind of poetic in a way. Then he just sits there as suddenly Kibble hits him with a Kamehameha, and Vegeta hits him with a big bang attack with all their strength, with all of their might. The Ki blasts both hit him as a massive explosion is heard and seen, but then nothing happens. Beerus simply smirks and says, "Nice try." He would simply smirk. Beerus was proud of Kibble and Vegeta. You've never seen people become this strong without God Ki. It was truly impressive. As they laid down there on the ship, unable to move from all the stamina and Ki they used, Beerus would simply say, "Wow, I'm impressed. No one's ever come close to that, my power. And you guys didn't really do it, but you were stronger than anyone else before. And you should take pride in that." Vegeta. He began to charge a Ki blast. "Well, I guess Kibble did kiss me, but with her fist, that doesn't really count. Kibble, just wish that brat back with the Namekian Dragon Balls." "Don't worry, you'll be fine. You can breathe in space," Beerus says as he was going to blow up the planet, but Kibble said, "Please don't." Beerus looked at her and looked into their eyes, and he stopped and said, "I guess I won't do it." Whis laughed and said, "What happened to that tough guy act? Can it, Whis?" But as Beerus and Whis were talking, Goku would appear and say, "Beerus, I got an idea." Beerus would look at him and say, "Oh yeah, what's that?" "We can use the Dragon Balls to get a Super Saiyan God." Luckily for Goku, since Bulma already had the Dragon Balls, they could just easily make a wish. And they wished to know about the Super Saiyan God, and Shenron explained the ritual, then left. As they were all holding hands, Beerus said, "Can Kibble be the one to get the God Ki?" Everyone was shocked since she wasn't really a true 100% Saiyan, but she was in the ritual. And everyone just looked at each other, and Beerus said, "Well, can she?" And they all agreed. As they all went through, suddenly all of them turned Super Saiyan as all of their powers were going into Kibble, and her entire skin turns red as it's filled with God Ki. Beerus then smirks and says, "Finally, a true fight." Kibble would then fly at Beerus as Beerus flew at her, and they both went into the sky. Each punch made the entire world shake as they went out into space and began to battle. Meanwhile, Goku, Vegeta, and the other Saiyans felt like they couldn't move. The ritual gave up so much power. All they could do was watch. As Beerus and Kibble began to battle each other, Beerus would say, "You're pretty and strong now. Aren't I a lucky guy? I get to get beat up by a girl." Kibble says, "You're a weird one, aren't you?" Beerus says, "Yeah, try being alone for millions of years. I'll do that for you." He laughs as they begin to battle each other, pushing each other further and further. And as they battled, they began to talk. Kibble would say, "Is that why you're angry? Because you're lonely? You've been alone for so long, so you lash out?" "I get it. I've been alone before, but then Beerus would grab her shoulder and say, "Don't you dare try to understand me," as he pushed her down to earth. But then she got back up and flew and punching Beerus right in the balls, and they began to push each other. As Beerus was mad, he charged a massive key ball and threw it at her. As she grabbed the key ball and began to absorb it, then she blasted one of her own right into Beerus's face, knocking him back. As then he came back and punched her, and she began to punch him. Shockwaves came out through the entire universe. Kibble gave him a good fight, a great fight, but it wasn't enough. Beerus would win, but as he went down to the planet, he decided not to destroy it, and smiled and said, "May we meet again, Kibble, and the rest of you," and then left with Whis. As Whis said, "Wow, I've never seen you had a crush like that before." Beerus said, "Shut up," as he blushed. And that's going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying making them. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Peace out.